Hello people, Gene here with my first video, how to install a wheelbarrow tire. Tools you're going to need or you could need. First of all, you're going to need some wrenches. Adjustable wrenches will do the job. And the back of them, you can use them as levers. They're nice and round, smooth, won't tear your rubber as easily. Okay, next you're going to need a valve tool. This is a combination valve cap valve tool. You can get them at auto parts stores, Walmart, anywhere. Now this is another valve tool. You can get this anywhere. It's a slime tool, a valve tool. It's got a valve tool on one end, and on the other end you can screw it onto your valve stem and pull it through to install it. If you're going to add a new, if you're going to put in a new valve stem, you need one of these. Okay, next you're going to need some lubricant. You can just use some kind of all-purpose cleaner or dish soap mixed with water, laundry soap mixed with water. I'm using this. It's Rue Glide from Napa. It's basically just soap and water, but it's got a rust inhibitor in it. Okay, you're going to need some kind of tire levers, tire irons. These are car tire irons. These were $5 a piece at Harbor Freight. These are all motorcycle tire irons. I know a lot of people aren't going to have them. I wouldn't go out and buy them if I didn't have them. These are $30 a piece. These tire spoons work pretty well. They have less of a tendency to pinch tubes. And these small tire irons, a set I think is $10. You could use screwdrivers as levers. I don't like them because they got sharp edges. They have a tendency to tear your rubber and pinch your tubes. Okay, bicycle tire levers. I'm going to install the tire with the bicycle tire levers. They'll do the job. And they're plastic. Won't tear your rubber, won't pinch your tube. And they're cheap. You can get a set for $3. You get them at bicycle stores. Okay, you might need a bead keeper. You can use a vice grip. The C-clamp works as a bead keeper. Now, if you have a hard time seating the bead, you might need something like a ratchet strap. If you don't have one, and you don't want to go buy one, you can just use a rope. Use it as a tourniquet to seat the bead. Okay, you're going to need a source of air. Compressor works best. If you don't have a compressor, maybe you can borrow one, or just take the tire to the service station that has air. Try to seat the bead there. Sometimes the bead on the tire fits snugly against the shoulder of the rim, and you can seat the bead with nothing but a bicycle pump. Or possibly something like this. I keep one of these in each of my cars. It's a battery operated tire inflator. And that's all the tools you're going to need or could need. Okay, you need something to rest the wheel on so you're not working with a wobbly wheel. If you have a hub that's sticking out like this one.
Remove the valve with your valve tool. Let the air out of the tire. Break the bead on both sides by stepping on it or pushing it with your hands. Breaking the bead means pushing it off the shoulder. My wheelbarrow rim doesn't have a safety ridge like an automobile rim, so breaking the bead was easy. These are the points I want to cover when I uninstall the top bead. Spray lube on both sides of the tire. Start with the valve stem at 6 o'clock. Insert levers on either side of the valve stem. Push down on the tire to get the levers in. The levers won't flip over easily when the other side of the bead is resting on the shoulder. So push the bead into the drop center and flip the levers over. Okay, as I'm pushing in the second lever, the bead keeps popping back into the rim. So what I'm going to do is use the back of an adjustable wrench as a third lever to hold the bead in place while I'm pushing in the second lever. A good place to put your lever is in the gap where the bead starts to drop down into the rim. If you're using a steel lever, be careful you don't catch the edge of the bead because you could tear a chunk of rubber out of the bead. Work your way around the rim, taking small bites. Once you get halfway, the bead comes right out. If you have a long lever, you can rest it against the hub and pull it around to get the bead off. Spray lube all around the shoulder and drop center. Use a lever to create a gap where you can stick your fingers into and pull the rim away from the tire. If you can't separate the tire from the rim with your hands, here's another way. You need a long lever. Anything you have around the house will do. Put the lever between the tire and the rim and create upward force on the rim. Use another lever to pry the bead over the rim. Spray lube around the drop center and shoulders of the rim. Spray lube around both beads, inside and out. Remember to get the inside. Try and push the tire on. Push down and forward. Push in a twisting motion. Sometimes you can't push a tire on all the way with your hands. Push it on as far as it'll go. You need to get it at least halfway before using a lever. Insert a lever where the bead comes up out of the rim. Push down on the tire as you lift the lever. Okay, so if you're not using bead keepers, you just wind up moving the bead around the rim and you don't get anywhere. So what you want to do is use a bead keeper or hold the bead down with your knee, which I'll get to in the next segment. Start out by spraying lube on the tire. Now you're going to need a bead keeper. You can hold the tire down with your knee. You can use a vice grip as a bead keeper. Or you can use a small C-clamp as a bead keeper. You want to just push the bead down into the rim a little bit to get you started. And you start to put it on with a lever. Usually I need 2 levers, but well, I was having pretty good luck with just one this time. When you start getting near the end, the bead has a tendency to ride up on the lever. So what you want to do to avoid it is just push down on the tire as you're lifting up on the lever.
Okay, I've pretty much covered everything I know about. The only thing left to do is seat the bead on this tire. It's a little bit difficult to seat. I'm going to do that in another video. And then just install a new valve stem and a new tire.
Cut off the old valve stem. Put the new valve stem in the valve hole. Thread on your valve tool. Spray lube on the new valve stem. Pull the new valve stem into place.